What if the night sky wasn't just a random scatter of stars, but a grand cosmic clock built by ancient empires? Over 5,000 years ago, ancient Persian astronomers looked up and saw more than mist in the heavens. They saw a sacred geometry. They believed the universe was guarded by four majestic zenithals, the four royal stars. From Aldebaran in the east to Fomalhaut in the south, these brilliant batches didn't just mark the changing seasons, they held the key to an entire civilization understanding of time, power, and cosmos. Today we are unlocking the forgotten secrets of the four royal stars of Persia. Around 3000 BC, ancient Iranians believed that the sky was divided into four regions, and each region was protected by one of the four royal stars. The reason they were called royal is that from the perspective of a terrestrial observer, they appear distinct from the other stars. Aldebaran, Regulus, Antares, and Fomalhaut are the brightest stars in their respective constellations and rank among the 21 brightest stars in the night sky. The Persians considered these stars to be four guardians of the sky and attributed seasonal changes and equinoxes to them. The title, Royal Stars or Four Guardians of the Sky, was fundamentally based on the observational phenomenon, including heliacal rising and the role of these stars in determining the calendar and seasons. Around 3000 BC, these four stars were associated with the four critical calendar points of the year. I mean vernal equinox, summer solstice, autumnal equinox, and winter solstice. According to Persian belief, the constellations containing the royal stars were located at four fixed points along the sun's path, and at the beginning of each season the sun was under the domination of one of these four bright stars. This was one of the reasons why these four stars were given the title royal. Around 3000 BC, due to Earth's axial precession, each of these four key stars coincide with one of the primary astronomical points of the year. At that time, as the sun approached its position, for example, Regulus indicated its alignment or proximity to the summer solstice through its heliacal rising at dawn. Let's check together each of these four royal stars. For example, Aldebaran. You can see that now Aldebaran today is considered to be about in the 70 degrees of the zodiac. But if we change the time and go to, for example, you can see that Aldebaran at that time was about 0 degree of zodiac, 0 degree of Aries sign in the tropical system, which means Aldebaran was marker of the vernal equinox or guardian of the east. But what about Regulus or Qalb al-Asad in Persian? Regulus, for example, in 2500 BC, Regulus was about the 90 degree and was marked as summer solstice and southern guardian. But But if we check the Antares or Qalbul Aqrab in Persian, Qalbul Aqrab in, for example, 3000 BC was about the 180 degree, and we can mark Antares as autumnal equinox and guardian of the west. And the last one, Fomalhaut or Fomalhaut in, for example, 2500 BC was about the 270 degree, and Persians marked Fomalhaut as the winter solstice and guardian of the north. The naming of these four stars as the guardians of the four cardinal directions, for example with Regulus as the guardian of the north of summer, was because ancient astronomers calculated seasonal changes or leap years and the precise start time of the agricultural cycles by closely observing their heliacal rising on the eastern horizon before sunrise. For a celestial body to be recognized as a royal star and a calendar reference, two conditions were mandatory. First, it had to be one of the brightest stars in the sky of the first magnitude, for example, so that it remained visible in the faint light of the dawn. And second, it had to be located very close to the ecliptic so that its heliacal rising could be measured with precision. Be careful that attributing the, for example, direction north to the Regulus has nothing to do with the direction of its rising on the horizon. Rather, it's rooted in the sun's position along the ecliptic. I mean the sun's annual path at that turning point. In the sidereal astronomy, when the sun reaches the summer solstice, it achieves its maximum northern declination relative to the celestial equator. I mean the highest northern point in this annual orbit known as the Tropic of Cancer. Ancient astronomers divided the sky into four main quadrants corresponding to the four key stations of the sun throughout the year. Ancient astronomers divided the sky into four main quadrants corresponding to the four key stations of the sun throughout the year. Vernal equinox, the starting point of the balance, corresponds to the east. Summer solstice, or the northernmost peak of the sun, corresponds to the north. Autumnal equinox corresponds to the west, and winter solstice, the southernmost peak of the sun, corresponds to the south. Therefore, because Regulus, for example, Regulus had a close alignment and proximity with the summer solstice, where the sun reaches the northernmost point of the sky, it was recognized in the ancient cosmological system as the guardian of the northern gate, or the guardian of the summer point, not the geographical rising direction of the star itself from the horizon. If not, this star had no connection to finding geographical north on the Earth, a task performed by the polarists by the pole star, and was not used for terrestrial navigation or orientation. However, this naming was not merely an imaginary and unfounded concept. Rather, it was part of a functional cosmological, chronological, and celestial mapping system. For example, in the absence of the today's reading and precise calendars, Ancient astronomers used the heliacal rising of the Regulus as the natural clock and calendar to know precisely what time of the year it was and on the threshold of which season, summer solstice, they stood. Also, the sky was divided into 4 quadrants, each with a guardian. Consequently, this title served as an astronomical and calendar status for observing annual cycles and setting agricultural and ritual calendars. Okay, I think it's enough for today. Today we are not going to, for example, dive into temperament of each 4 stars. Also, we have talked about Aldebaran in the previous sessions. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next.